Sure. So my first question is, can you share your journey from early days of your career to leading Policy Bazaar for business?
So I think there's more of I probably say early days of my career. While I've been with IPO and Citibank for a very brief while before joining Pulsar, but it's been almost about 14 years here now. So the early years of my career with Policy Bazaar has been primarily around, I joined in Mumbai
Mhm.
when Yashish was looking for people who can manage insurance relationships because there were insurers who were headquartered in Mumbai primarily and banks as well. But then it was always difficult for people to travel from Gurgaon and kind of take care of meetings every now and then. So that's when I joined along with other couple of more colleagues in Bombay. And primarily, responsibility was around managing insurer relationships, looking at what their pain points are, and then trying to understand how do we solve it internally, or internally looking at what are the pain points that our teams had with the insurers, and then kind of being that in the form of business development, right? So that's what I've done for a couple of years, which gave a very clear understanding of what how do insurers look at us, and what do they see value in, kind of, right? And then from there I moved to Gurgaon to lead a tech and product solution, which we kind of partnered with insurers to
Mhm.
build the digital ecosystem together. Because those are times when a lot of the ecosystem was built for agency business at the insurers end, and it's not primarily for a how do you put it online space kind of thing.
Okay.
And online was very very small at that point, and hence it was a chicken and egg story, right? Do you kind of really try and build solutions for those which is about say 0.5% of your business today, with the hope that this is going to increase, or do you kind of make your IT pipeline work around that 99.5% of business? So the secondary thing used to happen. Insurers used to prefer to kind of put their pipeline around that 99.5% of business. That's where we kind of partnered to kind of build those digital solutions for them, so that
Mhm.
they're able to kind of go digital. Otherwise, it was becoming very tough for us also to kind of expand beyond a point, right? So I managed that business, and that kind of gave me a understanding of deeper understanding of tech and product, because I'm not while I'm an engineer by
Okay.
degree before MBA, but then I've never been into tech side or understanding how an architecture works. And if a project is to be executed, or if, let's assume tomorrow something is to be changed in business,
Mhm.
how much impact would it have, or what kind of, but that still I think gave a lot of good insight around what exactly goes behind it. How does the architecture look like? How does the database work? How does the front end code work? And how does the regular back end code work? And what kind of changes would take how long? So today, if someone says, this is how much time this is going to take, I think I can clearly sense or say whether that's broadly a right thing, or is someone trying to just overbuy time kind of a thing, right?
Right.
And also, and someone says this is what has happened wrong yesterday night,
Mhm.
and this is the RCA. Is that what it is, or is there more to it? Kind of, you're able to see through it very clearly. So, and as a result, you're able to get much better responses, I would say. That helped a lot of to get there. And then for about a year and a half, I kind of did probably partnerships, I would say strategic partnerships, where we're trying to kind of partner with e-commerce companies in case we can do some marketing partnerships and all of that, kind of to kind of get inflow of traffic and few more things. And when we realized that it was not really a space where others would want to partner,
Mhm.
that's when I kind of moved to motor, probably as a deputy head, and then as business unit head, kind of, where I led the motor business for about 4 years or so, kind of. And we've done some new innovative products there, or in terms of services, I would say, rather than products. Services, I would say, especially with respect to self video inspection, and the same thing being replicated on claims, which are kind of, I would say, first in the industry to be done, to be and successfully be used by a lot of customers. And then we've seen a lot of players kind of bring same solutions and kind of replicate it in the market. But that's the kind of work. And then probably I moved on to term insurance for a couple of years, where
Okay.
like the term life business, where again we kind of experimented or co-created with insurance companies some new products basis consumer feedback. And then post that, for the last 2.5 years, we've been leading the corporate business, which we call as Policy For Business. So that's how broadly my journey has been at PB.
Great. Great. My next question is, what were the key challenges and milestones you faced while scaling Policy Bazaar's retail businesses before transition to your corporate insurance?
See, I think in the retail business, when I was kind of leading motor business, there were a couple of things that we saw through initially when I kind of took over motor business, right? There were these customers who had car insurance which they were supposed to renew on time and they could not renew on time.
Right.
Uh, and hence, which means they had to be inspected. These vehicles had to be inspected. And today it's still a different world with a lot of tech solutions and all of that coming up. But those are days when none of these solutions existed, and even bandwidths were also not so great. The internet
Right.
bandwidth was also not so great, right?
Right.
And hence we had to kind of look at what is the best solution possible. And then on the ground, when you look at inspection agencies who used to do inspection, every probably state or region had different agencies, and the insurance companies used to coordinate with these multiple agencies in multiple places for multiple cases. So it's a kind of a mess. And it's not that the same agency was working with every insurance company.
Right.
So
Yes.
like if there were say 5-6 insurance companies that you're working with, those
Mm.
5-6 companies used to have 5-6 different agencies, which means you have to work with about 25 to 30 agencies. And
Right.
hence there's a lot of spillage of data. There's a lot of people kind of taking those leads and then kind of trying to give them to their friends who are agents in the market,
Chaos will be.
rather than trying to do that. It was a madness kind of thing, and hence the conversions were very, very bad in that area. And
Hmm.
that's when we kind of experimented around, or we've kind of went back to clients and asked, what do you want to, how do you think you can solve this, and then you can make this simpler, in terms of making it faster and all of that. Then we went back to insurance and said, why can't we kind of take a photos from a client, or some kind of a online photo capture kind of thing. We found that there was some fraudulent things that happened in the past, and then we went back and then we said, what if it was a video? But
Hmm.
what if we cracked the, and they said then the video someone can make it and upload a old video. I said, how can you make it tamper proof? And that's what we kind of went in to make a, how do we put, optimized an app which can ensure that all of that fraudulent elements are taken care of, and at the same time it's delivered. And that worked like, it took a bit of time to kind of solve, but then I think it worked very well, and then it kind of went on to become a norm kind of in this segment, to be used. That's a kind of problems that we've kind of solved by taking in consumer insight and trying to see as segments kind of thing. The other thing, probably I think the rest is more about whether whether you want to kind of really buy insurance at times, especially when you look at say a term life insurance kind of segment, or the other health insurance segment. In my early days, I would say, rather than me leading on the whether it was me leading or someone else leading on the retail business, some of
Hmm.
the problems that we saw as Policy Bazaar was people's resistance. While they understood that something was important, again, people thinking that, will something happen to me really, and is this necessary to be bought today? So I think we did a lot of work around making them understand why it is important that they should buy on at that specific point of time, and being able to showcase them the reason to buy kind of thing, right? For example, there've been policies where the prices have increased over a period of time in multiples. If you look at health insurance or whichever, or other term insurance, so being able to start showcasing that, which made them kind of also believe that, okay, this is something which has happened over a period of time, so it's better that I get logged in at this point of time, or buy today kind of thing, rather than on something that can happen tomorrow kind of thing. So things of this nature always existed as such, I would say, and we always try to go back to consumer, understand what they're saying, and then kind of try to solve it.
Okay. Great. So, how was your experience in business management, product development, and marketing shaped under your leadership approach?
So as I said earlier, right, Nivruti, just a while back, as I said, one of the stint that I did on the product and tech and product side gave
Right.
me a lot of insight into tomorrow as a leader. You at times, it is okay, you will not be doing it exactly yourself, but then your teams will be delivering certain projects and all of that stuff. But then when a, in a regular working kind of thing, when there's no stress, or when there's no crisis kind of thing, it's fine. 1 hour here and there extra, or a one day here and there extra, it doesn't matter. But in times of crisis, in times of stress, where you have to take quick calls and kind of fix certain things quickly, I think you also should be able to guess and understand how much time would it take, or what things would take, right? Or at the same time, or at a point of time when you want to optimize and see if your operations are running very finely or not, you
Smoothly.
need to understand certain nitty-gritties, because especially when something is not working right, when someone is saying, when you question that why is this not working right, what can we do about it, when the other person says, okay, this is what we're doing, then you also have to just understand, rather than just by blindly going by it. You also have to probably get a sense of whether that's sounding logical or not, and whether that's right or not. I think that experience on the tech and product management side, or other things, on the market side, helped a lot in terms of being able to lead teams with confidence, and also probably take those decisions in the right nick of time to understand whether someone is kind of, at times you might also see people who might be going wrong down, probably going the wrong way down the line just because of not having that specific experience in a particular product line or a particular zone kind of thing, right? So these help you kind of, when you're leading the team, also bring in that confidence in the team. And second is obviously in terms of being able to uh, be more cautious and see how you might want to take those decisions.
Right. At times you need to do the RCA, cause analysis. So that helps a lot, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, my next question is, how is Policy Bazaar addressing the unique insurance needs of SMEs and large enterprises in India?
See, I think we've kind of taken this approach again, as I said, right? Policy, at the core of Policy Bazaar's heart is the thought that anything and everything that we would want to do comes from what the customer is saying and what is the pain point of a customer or a client. In this case, it's either a corporate or an SME. Or
Right.
the end customer or end consumer might be the employee in employee policies, kind of employee wellness policies, right? So what we had done till date in the last 3 years or whatever it is, and what we are continuing to do is primarily going by the same thought process of understanding what is it that they're saying that does not exist today as a service, or what is the thing that could make their lives easier. So whether it might be in terms of there are two, three broad themes that I would kind of pick and say, right? If I were to say as examples, one is their pain point might be that the service that their employees are getting, or what their employees might not be getting today, especially in the need of that hour when they want to make a claim or when they were going to hospital, kind of a thing. And then they reach out to HR or the policy administration person, and then they run here and there, whatever that they have to do.
Right.
The second is generally when, let's assume tomorrow there's an audit that's happening internally, and you have to submit some statements of your, say CD balance, which you call it, where monthly every endorsement would have happened, addition, deletion of employees would have happened. So some money on a pro rata basis would have got deducted, some money on pro rata basis would have come back as a refund. So a number of things that happen, right? So, and again, you need to run back, or do you have to rely on asking at that point of time or calling up people and then waiting for that to come down, or do you have a ready reference of it available through tech solutions, kind of thing?
Mhm.
It's about either the pain point that the client gets through their end consumer, who's the employee,
Right.
or it's a pain point of the policy administration person itself, or is it about kind of how do you put it, trying to build a more of what else can we make this to further improve on the overall premium or a claims ratio, kind of a thing. So while the other two are primarily from pain points perspective of processes, the final end point is you're paying a premium to insurance companies and organization. And tomorrow, basis how much claims you make, your next year premium is going to be there. So the way
Right.
you're able to optimize it, and you're able to optimize your coverages versus the claims that are going out, you're you're able to optimize your next year premium.
Right.
So are you able to do that in a better way or not, or how do we do that together from start of the year rather than thinking about it at the end of the year in terms of changing something? These are kind of things which we again are listening to corporates and then kind of have done it over the last 3-4 years, I would say. And from SME's perspective, I think SME's perspective slightly, uh, while there was no, like the way, for example, in individual retail product, right? Earlier, there was no comparison platform before Allsware came into existence in 2008 or 2000,
Right.
prior to that, right?
Yeah.
And there was always, you used to depend on someone telling you something and then you buying it.
Yes. Right.
That's what it is for SMEs, unfortunately. See, the broker space was primarily focusing on the large corporates. The
Mhm.
SMEs were primarily dependent on either the small brokers or the agents who were there. And
Right.
I would not say that there's something wrong with them, but then the only thing is there's no transparency around what all products do exist, which all insurers exist, and what is the product pricing that's available also.
Right.
So as a result, I think somewhere the options have become limited to them, and the kind of pricing disparity which would happen as a result of that was there. And what we've brought in is being able to, for those who are smaller companies who might not really need larger brokers, and or who might not need a larger solution, but they would want optimized premium and optimized coverage for their own requirements. I think we've been able to bring that to them through a platform which is available to them to compare, similar to the way we have for retail. And
Right.
at the same time, also kind of bring in some solutions which probably a company would need when they're moving from a, say, SME stage to a mid-sized corporate kind of a thing, and be that person who can plug it depending on the timing it is. For example, you've been at a particular stage for a couple of years, so we support you in a particular way. Now, when you're moving from one stage to other stage, you might have some more needs which you have to take care of. Now, you don't want to change your partner again now and then, right? So, as a partner, we're able to continue and implement whatever those additional requirements are there as well. So, we today work with a broad spectrum of clients, and we have different teams who work with different set of clients, kind of. I would say the teams which are specialized in handling large corporates, the teams which are specialized in handling SMEs, and kind of getting to solutions which are quick turnaround time with a smaller pre-decided solutions, where you have a bouquet of offerings, wide range of offerings in terms of multiple insurers, multiple products, and also transparency in price and the features that you can compare and take, rather than just going by what someone has said and kind of taking it.
Right. Okay. So my next question is related to your previous answer. So how does Policy Bazaar is leveraging technological advancement like integration with AI to offer better insurance solution to businesses?
See, today, I think, as I said, right, again, the technology should be able to solve a problem statement is what it is.
Right.
Otherwise, just for the sake of technology, implementing technology just for the sake of technology does not make anything. Either it should reduce your timelines for something, or either it should make something which is failing earlier as a service not fail, kind of thing, right? So we've been clearly been able to leverage that, in terms of solving those problem statements that I told you earlier. Like if I were to take a small example, like earlier we used to see that while employees would have been given the e-cards, which is taking care of their employee health policy on email, or they've been given a coverage and details at the start of the year, but then generally employees don't tend to go through it. The reason behind that being, in a 100 employee organization, generally about 6 to 7 employees would claim in a year, or 8 employees would claim in a year. So which means, and then as everyone thinks, right, मतलब हम ही भगवान है, हमारे साथ तो कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. So that's the thought with which a lot of people don't even take retail insurance also today. So people don't expect that. Obviously, no one expects something ill to happen with them, right? So they think, okay, mail में है, मतलब देख लेंगे, or we'll see whenever it comes to it. And then one day, fine evening, at about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you're rushing to hospital, and now you don't know where the e-card is, and then you call up the HR saying, "Where's my e-card, please?" Yes. And the HR tries to speak to TPA to get the e-card and all. So we said, how can we solve these things, right, without anyone requiring to call anyone, kind of thing. So we said, anyways, it'll go on email the way it goes as usual. That's fine. But then we said there's a employee wellness app on which it is available, which is, where you can always download the app, use it for multiple things, filing of claims and all of that stuff. And, you can download the card from there. Then there's a WhatsApp bot also, which is there, where you say hi and you get 5-6 menu options. And one of that is e-card. You click it, it comes in there and then. Now, let's assume a scenario where you got hospitalized because of an accident or something, and your colleague is assisting you. Your colleague will not have access to your phone, or might not have access to your app and all. Now what? Then you call the HR, and then the HR need not call anyone. Then the HR also has a panel where they just log in, click, download, send. That's how it is. So it's at your fingertips at any point of time. Kind of. It's a small problem, a statement, a small problem which can be solved. I think with the technology solution that we said, again, everyone might not be able to use an app. There might be some of the blue-collar workers, or some people who are, who have come into this gig working space, or not a gig working space, but a blue-collar work space kind of thing, right? Now, for them, what do they do? But then today, everyone uses WhatsApp. So WhatsApp bot can help them as well, right? Yes. So that's how it is. For those who can use an app, there's an app. For those who can't use an app, there's a WhatsApp bot as well. So you choose what you want, kind of thing, right? Right. These are the kind of solutions you've been able to build, and I think technology is clearly playing one of the key role, or technology is one of the key aspect, I would say, in whatever problems that we're solving, or whatever solutions that we're bringing forward to corporates or SMEs in this space. Great. That's a great answer. So how do you see the corporate insurance landscape evolving in India over the next 5 years? So I think right now, in terms of, there are two sides of corporate insurance, again, I would say, right? One is the entire employee benefit space, and then there's the entire commercial line space, kind of thing, which takes care of your assets and protection and all of that stuff. So on the employee benefit side, there have been clearly some escalation of costs post-COVID, very clearly, given the medical inflation and all of that stuff. So that's there. And as a result of which, I think there have been some escalation in costs in which corporates have been kind of taking on. At some point of time, I think some of these will probably might start to, and some of the reasons why some of them are still taking it on is, there's also a new generation of organizations who are wanting to give almost everything to their employees, kind of, where you don't want to limit a lot of stuff and then kind of give. I think somewhere these two worlds will meet. at some point of time in these coming 5 years, right? As a result of which, at some point, people might decide that this is beyond what we can absorb as a cost. And somewhere some reality also will kick in into some of those companies which are newfound companies and all of that, because if you have uncontrolled kind of a employee benefit kind of thing, then it is not about the employee would want to do something, but then the hospitals or the other networks also would try to take advantage of it at some point of time, right? And that keeps escalating the cost,
Hmm.
kind of. So I think somewhere either the benefits have to be capped in some of these, or the pricing accordingly, because someone has to pay price for it, right?
Right.
So either that has to happen, or then everyone has to move in that direction slowly. At least I would say the corporates who might be today waiting and watching kind of a thing, saying, do we really do this? Because that's a lot of cost impact. uh, as I said, you're waiting and watching here, and then there's someone who's still doing it. Either the company realizes that they come down the curve, or you kind of move up the curve, kind of thing.
Right. Right.
So that I think somewhere that balance will have to happen on the employee benefit side to an extent, because again, as we see more and more, the lot of, how to put it, retention, when we speak about retention and all of that stuff in a lot of places, with especially the HR members and all of that. This is one of the key things also which comes up, right? Whether in terms of coverages which the company is giving and wellness that the company. Again, when I say coverages, I don't mean to say only insurance policies. Insurance policies have
Hmm.
now become tailored with a lot of wellness packages, which might be in terms of consultation of doctors, OPDs, annual health checkups, gym memberships. A lot of things have got integrated into it. So I'm saying, as a wellness is an overall thing. Now, that's one thing which also employees see today in terms of that, right?
Right.
So when you see that as one of the critical element, then you have to, also look at it. How are you benchmarked with respect to the market, and is the entire market, if the entire market is moving towards that, right? You also have to either figure out a way to budget towards it and do it, or the other side of players start to come down. So this is one aspect, I think, which will be there. On that's one key thing which is there. And second thing for sure is on the technological side. So there's obviously with AI and all of that stuff, there's a lot of things that are changing with time, right? In
Right.
the last 3 years itself, 3 4 years, there's been a pace at which things have moved in terms of being able to have a self-service modules, not have too much of to and fro kind of thing. And there's also regulation which is regulator who's trying to push everyone in the ecosystem to kind of do cashless anywhere. So
Right.
these things should make it much, I would say, smoother as a process than compared to what it is today. Because again, when I say smoother, you know, there are multiple parties in the ecosystem at any point of today. There's a employee, then there's a hospital, then there's either a TP or insurer kind of, and there are multiple systems between that. So that flow of chain of events or whatever it is takes a bit of smoothness away today. So I think that smoothness, I think, will become much better with systems being much more integrated and better off kind of thing. Is how it is. Yeah. So
Wow.
that's how it is.
So, adding to this, so with the increasing cybersecurity threats, how is Policy Bazaar helping businesses mitigate digital risk through insurance solutions?
See, so as I was saying in the earlier example, right, there are two parts to it. One is the employee benefit side, and the other is commercial aspect side of it, which is where you take care of your organization risk, which is either in terms of cyber risk or say professional injury where errors and omissions risk, which you say might happen by error due to one of your officers. Some error might have been committed, and hence the client might sue you. Or let's assume the protecting your office assets and all your properties or factories from fire or other damages kind of thing. All
Hmm.
of these are part of the other organizational risks that I would say.
Hmm.
So whether it's cyber or whether it's whichever it is, we're kind of trying to say, again, listening to the client, kind of what is that, because some of these products today are very uh, how do you put it, some of them have tariffs also today. As a
Hmm.
result, some of it is kind of very structured in nature, that there is not too much of a differential in a product that can come,
Right.
right? On a regular clientele kind of thing. Unless obviously unless it's a say a mega project kind of thing, then obviously those get customized at a very different level kind of.
Right.
But for the rest of the segment, which is the majority of segment, there's not too much of a differentiation that comes in the product kind of thing, right? Except the kind of coverages that we speak about. At times, we've also seen in the market that people kind of add some more coverages just for sake of adding coverages, to say I'm giving you more coverages, but those coverages actually don't mean anything for your risk, for
Right.
the risk that you are writing, or for the risk that you have. So that coverage might mean something in reality, but then for your risk, that never gets triggered kind of, so it does not mean. So rather than getting into it, I think what we are looking at is kind of saying when you have a risk which can or a incident that can happen due to which this this cover can get triggered.
Hmm.
What can we do to kind of do above and beyond that kind of thing? So today, with respect to whether it's cyber or other as I said, other fire risks and all of that, we've been able to build some solutions in house to for our corporates with integrated solutions where we're saying, can you kind of actually prevent the risk by centrally also observing and observing at different levels and having a system to observe it. Today, what you do is, okay, has all the checks, and so let's assume if you were to take an organization which has about say 10 factories kind of thing, right? Now, are every checks and balances done there? Are the lift inspections happened? Have the firefighting equipment have been upgraded or renewed every year with respect to refilling and all of that stuff? It's a
Right.
tick box, or someone says yes and it has been done, and obviously I'm sure there's some register which is available. But then how do you make it easier to be tracked and also say something is not working timely, or somewhere something would have happened wrong, or this has not happened, and how do you correct it? Because tomorrow when some incident happens, that might actually be the one which is triggering your, see, for again example, firefighting equipment and a training or regular retraining of employees on firefighting.
Right.
Sometimes people don't just get involved in it, right? They say, "Ha, it's done. It is done," but then reality might not be true. So how do you ensure these kind of stuff is tracked to ensure that the risk is avoided, right? And similarly, when you come to cyber security kind of thing, there are certain solutions which you are trying to build, which can kind of, again, in-house solutions as a large player who's working in the e-commerce space. We also have in-house experts who are trained or who have the expertise on the cyber side, right? So we're kind of utilizing them to kind of provide some services to our clients in terms of being able to advise them what is that they should kind of look at in terms of to mitigate the risk, rather than only looking at the coverage and then saying the coverage will take care of. Because really, again, while people would our job is kind of to suggest what's the right one, right coverage, and what premium and all of that, and which we do. But then none of the CISOs would be very happy to be in a situation to see their policy triggering, because what you see is from outside is the policy got triggered due to an incident that has happened, and then a claim has been filed and all of that. But then the life of a CISO or a CTO goes for a toss when such an incident happens.
Right. Yes.
It's as good as probably you know a 3 to 5 days going without sleep kind of a thing also for a lot of people in the team.
Yes.
Now, do you really, that's what we speak about. Can we avoid even getting to that space
Yes.
and
Right.
then, kind of look at it? That's where we're trying to help organizations kind of build a better defense or better solutions kind of thing in place with the enough expertise that we have, and by collaborating with them better. So we will look at prevention while we are putting the policy and structuring the policy right, pricing right, and all of that. We're looking at prevention as a methodology, and can we do something about it? Is where we're helping a lot of organizations do better.
Great. Precautions is uh, better, right?
Yeah,
Always.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. My last question is, as a leader, what are the key qualities you believe are essential for driving innovation in insurance industry?
See, I think we as whether it's me or whether it's as a core of at the core of Pulsar that we believe, or a Pulsar for business that we believe, it's primarily that consumer has to be at the center very clearly, and customer. If you start listening to the customer and understanding what's the pain point, then automatically meaningful innovation would happen by default. See,
Right.
innovation can mean anything, right? Tomorrow you can come and say, how to probably say this is something which will deliver this within microseconds kind of, or
Hmm.
whatever it is. If that is not a pain point, it is an innovation, but it might not be a meaningful innovation kind of thing. Yeah. Now what we're saying is, what we continue to do is we kind of try to uh, listen to what the client pain point is at each and every point, whether it's at a buying stage, or it's a pre-buying stage, or the post-buying stage kind of. And that every time, you might feel that, no, till when will you keep on waiting on that? But I think it surprises you, because as you get deeper and as you go deeper into, there's a time when probably we had say a lakh of customers. Then there's a time when we had crore of customers, right? Or say
Right.
10 lakhs customers. Then there's a time when we have crore of customers. Irrespective, I think the kind of customers that you interact with also changes over a period of time. Probably at one point they were majorly 70 to 80% tier one customers. Then later on, probably 60% is tier one. The rest 40% is tier two, tier three. Then now it's about slightly larger in terms of tier two, tier three. The nature of customer also changes as a result of that, and hence the problem statement of that customer also would keep changing to an extent, kind of. And this is very much applicable for any business line that I would say in insurance, whether it's about life or general or overall or any specific product line also. And that's one thing which we keep doing, I think, by keeping it heart, is listening to them to try and understand what is that pain point that's being faced, which can probably be solved either through technology or either through a different product line or a process kind of thing. And that's where the meaningful innovation always kicks in. And as leaders, I think that's what we would suggest, that for any segment, I would say, not only insurance as such.
Great, great. It was nice talking to you. I'm done with the questions. Do you have anything to say? If I missed anything you want to talk
No,
about?
I think it's good. I think it's good. I think that's fine. Yeah.
I would like to ask you one more thing, that if we can have one more whenever you get time, because it was a really short time when Madhuri mentioned that Tarun is not available. You have to do an interview with Sajja. So we can,
Mhm.
I'm sure, if anytime soon we can catch up again and.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, sure.